My name is Bob Babbitt, and we're here for Breakfast with Bob at Challenge Atlantic City with the beautiful Atlantic Ocean right behind us. And a guy who grew up not that far from here, Normandy Beach, Scott DeFilippis. Scott, how you doing?
Good. Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. So it's sort of cool having a major triathlon come to your neighborhood?
Yeah, the Jersey Shore is sort of like a hotbed for triathletes, especially over the last 10 years. It's really exploding. There's local races
all the time?
Every single weekend.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. So I always thought you could have a race in New Jersey. The problem is logistics,
Sure.
Especially as you get further north. But down here, the course looks great.
So you grew up here and runner mainly?
Long distance runner, yeah.
So early on, so 5,000, 10,000 type of thing in high school?
5,000, 10,000 cross country in college.
Yeah, and Tennessee.
At the University of Tennessee.
So you like orange?
I like orange.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
the family beach house has an orange roof.
Really?
Just happens to be my mom's favorite color.
She didn't do it for you.
No.
You should have said. Yeah, you should bring the.
But maybe it was destiny that I went to Tennessee.
I love that. And running to Tennessee, like I said, 5,000, 10,000 cross country. Some of your better times from that era.
Yeah, I've run 29:10 for 10,000 and
wow.
an hour 5 and change for the half marathon. 2:24 for the marathon.
2:24. Where'd you do that?
I did that in Twin Cities in I think it was 2006 or 7. I remember I exploded at mile 22. I was on 2:18 pace. I thought
so you were trying to qualify for trials,
right?
Yeah.
Right, and I blew up, and
you had
that
to go
was it.
sub 2:19 for the.
No, it was
2:21.
It was 2:22.
Oh.
So I was pretty close. But yeah, that was my one and only attempt at the full marathon.
The hard part about that stuff is, say you go 2:18, 2:17, the best guys in the world are 2:04, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, am I going to make a living? I'm sure you were running thinking, hey, I love doing this, whatever happens, and you sort of know that maybe I can get to trials, but you're not,
You're not going to make a living.
You're not going to make a living.
Definitely not. Yeah.
But was that something that was in your head as a kid? Hey, I want to be an Olympian. I want to make a living as an athlete, or did this all sort of come by surprise?
I think I developed a passion for running. My brother was a runner. I'd watch the tour on TV and the old Ironmans.
Yeah.
But I couldn't swim. I loved to ride a bike, but I never really thought I'd get. Maybe in the back of my mind, I thought I'd do it, but
yeah.
It wasn't until I was in my late 20s that I really had a crack at full time. I was
late
managing
20s.
My brother's running shop.
Where's that?
In Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd moved back home, and I just sort of realized that it's not what I wanted to do. There was something else out there.
Yeah.
And so I went for it.
So when you say you went for it, did you decide, okay, I'm just going to go learn to swim and ride a bike? What happened?
Yeah, well, Brian Shea, who's the owner of Personal Best Nutrition,
Uh-huh.
and he consults with a lot of the top athletes. He's from my area.
Right.
And he taught me how to swim, and we were friends before that because he was a lifeguard on my beach. So
Right.
He kind of helped me with my swim and helped me get my first bike and got me going.
So you mentioned that sort of out of the blue, you get a call from Brett Sutton, who's really, when you talk about great coach, it's like Vince Lombardi giving you a call, right? It's like one of the legendary coaches, Bill Belichick, saying, hey, Scott, I would like you to come play, wide receiver for me. When Brett Sutton, did you know much about him when he called?
I started to read up a bit on the sport because I was still pretty new to it, and I knew he was Chrissie Wellington's coach.
Yep.
But a guy by the name of Arlen McAfee, who was part of the Filipino development team, who's a Filipino-American, he's now started the Phil-Am Triathlon Club, which is worldwide. You see him everywhere. Anyways, Arlen knew that Team TBB was being sort of redeveloped, and Brett was looking for an American, and he thought I fit the profile.
Huh.
So, I got an email and an invitation to Subic Bay.
To come to the Philippines.
And I had just moved to Florida. I was going to spend the winter in Florida because I wanted to get out of Jersey. It's freezing.
Yeah.
And, that was it. I drove home, and I spent 4 years under Brett.
Wow. And Brett has a great reputation for working with female athletes.
Yeah.
Right? Chrissie Wellington, Caroline Steffen. I mean, he's really done really well there. For you, what did you learn from him?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything I know is from Brett.
And what did he change? You were already training, I'm sure you were already racing. What did he change? And was it a mindset? Was it the volume, quality? What was it? Or everything?
Everything.
Everything.
The best piece of advice he gave me, he said to me, it takes most men, 3 years to learn how to train for Ironman, and then it takes them another 3 years to learn how to race. And he said, we're going to do it in 3 years. Do you have 3 years? Can you commit 3 years of your life to me?
Wow.
And I said, yeah, I'm in. And he was pretty much spot on in terms of, he's a realist. He looked at my body type and he said, look, I think you can run 240 low. I think it's going to take a long time. We have to develop your swim. You can't ride with the chicks.
Right, you can't ride. Yeah, you can't ride.
I was so weak.
Yeah.
You know? I remember Angela Nath was there at the first camp, and I couldn't even hold her wheel.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much spot on, and I had my breakthrough race in 2012. I believe it was 2012 at Ironman Switzerland, and I ran 2:43 there with him screaming. You know, it's a 3-lap course, so he was able to run back and forth on the course. I'll never forget it.
And he was screaming at you.
Screaming at me, and the only mission for the day was he didn't care how I swam, didn't care how I rode. You're going to run 240 low. And,
wow.
And he was right. You know, he predicted that 3 years earlier.
When you get a guy who, you know, I'm sure when he says, hey, in 3 years you're going to be competitive, in 3 years you'll know how to race, and it actually happens, there's got to be a feeling like, okay, I will walk through fire for this guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Followed him around the world.
So when I look at, we're talking 8:09 in Florida, third place, and then Penticton 2:45, second place, right? 2:45 at Challenge Penticton last year.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah. So that's great stuff. When you're talking about 8:09, you're talking about 240s off the bike. What's the next step for you?
Well, when Team TBB broke up this past year, I was in a difficult position.
Sure.
I was managing Brett's coaching business for him, working with him and Alex. To this day, I don't know what went down.
Yeah.
I know what went down. I don't understand why it went down.
It seemed like they could have salvaged that.
It's pretty sad because there were 30 athletes.
Yeah. We're scattered to the wind, basically.
Yeah, and we were all like a family, you know. So it was really hard for me, and especially for Alex Bach, who was the founder.
Yeah.
I was at a bit of a crossroads, and Rebecca Keat,
yes,
who was on Team TBB with me, and he and I are good friends. She's like a sister to me, and she called me up and said, "Why don't you come work with Siri?"
That's a great idea.
And so my girlfriend is Carrie Lester, and I thought I was training Carrie all last year, and that can be difficult, as you can imagine.
I can bet that, yeah.
So yeah, we reached out to Siri, and we've been working with her since February, and we've just been in Boulder the last 6 weeks, and that's really great. And I think, selfishly for me, I think it's going to work out. She's going to take me to the next level. I believe that in my heart, a level I never could have imagined. But for the sport, I would have liked to have seen TBB continue.
Right.
I'd have liked to still be a part of that.
Sure.
And for the long term, you know, I was really hoping to be a coach.
Right.
And Alex has just relaunched the team, and I wish him all the best. But in terms of me, for now, yeah, I'm really enjoying working with Siri. It's an unbelievable experience. She's an incredible woman.
So this weekend, challenged Atlantic City. I'm sure you probably have some folks who might be cheering for you out there.
Yeah, a lot of family and friends are coming.
I love that. And is this course set up well for you?
Well, I think it's going to be a fair race.
Yeah.
It's a small field.
Yep.
You know, the wind will break it up coming back if there's any kind of group.
There's always wind here, huh?
Yeah, pretty much you're going to have an onshore wind after 10 or 11. So that last 30 miles into the wind could keep it honest, and then if it's hot, if the sun's out, the run will be difficult.
Which would be good for you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, so really you've obviously become very good swimming and cycling, but your ace is still when you're a guy who runs in the low 240s. So people have to make sure they've got a gap on you. People are going to be attacking on the bike to get rid of you.
It's all about managing the first, 5 hours.
Right.
You manage that, you fuel yourself, and yeah, I should have a good run.
Is that one of the things Brett talks about? Don't think about the other guys. First 5 hours, just get your fuel in, make sure you're monitoring your body, make sure you know exactly what's going on.
You know, it's something that Siri's really gotten me to think about. And if I look at the way that Rinny races, we're similar in that kind of coming from behind.
Yep.
And for her to keep herself together the way she does that late in the day is just incredible.
Right.
It makes her so special.
The hardest part about that is, when you see those guys coming back the other way, you're always thinking, they're working together. They're, when you're the sort of in that twilight zone on the bike and they're off you got the better swimmer cyclists are together. You're always thinking, oh my God, I'm by myself and I've got to go harder. And the challenge is not to do that, right, and not to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, you've just got to limit the losses, manage it, and that's sort of what Brett would always say to me. You just can limit the damage until you get off the bike, and then when you get off the bike, attack.
Go for it.
Yeah.
What's your goal ultimately? What do you?
Well,
are you a Kona guy?
I've yet to win a race. That's the goal at the moment. I want to
win one. Yeah.
Sure, the history is in Kona.
Yes.
I want to get there.
Exactly.
Siri wants to see me go there.
Yeah.
We're going to go out this year. Carrie and I are going to go spend 3 weeks. And
do a little training block?
We're going to train there, and really, that whole race week is for our teammates. Be there to support them.
Yeah.
And race day is about them. So I want to see it, and then, eventually, maybe next year, have a crack. We'll see what happens if Challenge puts on some kind of a world tour.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them work together in the professional ranks and see both races kind of put world-class events on, and then have Kona, be the
world champs.
Yeah.
What would it mean to you as a guy from Normandy Beach to win this race?
Oh, it'd probably be a dream come true.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible in front of my family and friends. I've always kind of I've dreamt that if I'd win one, it'd be on the other side of the world. So to have this race come here, that'd be great.
Have your parents seen you in a long distance race before?
Yeah, they love to come to Florida every year. I've raced Panama City pretty much every year for the last 5 years.
Yep.
I love the town.
Yeah.
It's one of the historic races.
Yep.
So they like coming. It's easy, they stay on the beach and they can
right
go back
there.
to the hotel after the swim and have a nap. So yeah, they were there the year I was third, and that was pretty special to have them there
love
for that. Yeah.
Hey, well, good luck on Sunday, man.
Thank you.
It was really nice to get to know you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Scott DeFilippis has been our guest. Again, this is Breakfast with Bob. A little late in the day for breakfast, but it's okay. We, again, are on triathlete.com. Hold on. We'll be right back.